You have been alive for years. You have learned languages, formed friendships, fallen in love, made mistakes, built memories that shaped who you are. But the first 2 or 3 years of your life, the years when you were learning faster than you ever would again, are completely gone. Not faded, not blurry, gone. You were there. You were experiencing things. You were forming attachments to people who loved you completely. And you remember none of it. Why? Here's what makes this strange. Babies are not passive. They are not just lying there waiting to become people. In the first 2 years of life, the human brain grows faster than at any other point in existence. By age 2, your brain had already reached 80% of its adult size. You were absorbing language, recognizing faces, understanding cause and effect, forming emotional bonds. Researchers who study infant development have found that babies as young as 6 months can form memories that last for days. By 1 year old, memories can last for weeks. You were remembering things. The memories were forming. So, where did they go? The answer lives in a small curved structure deep in your brain called the hippocampus. Deep inside your brain, there is a structure called the hippocampus. It's small, curved, and it does one of the most important jobs in your entire existence. It takes what you experience and turns it into something you can actually remember later. Without it, nothing sticks. And here is where the mystery starts to unravel. The hippocampus is one of the last parts of the brain to finish developing. In your first 2 to 3 years of life, it wasn't ready yet. The experiences were arriving. The feelings were real, but the system that was supposed to save them for you was still being built. Imagine trying to record something on a device that hasn't finished setting up yet. The moment happens, and then it's just gone. Scientists have a name for this: infantile amnesia. But that clinical name doesn't quite capture what it actually is. This isn't something that happened to you because something went wrong. It happened to every single person who has ever lived. Your parents, their parents, every human being across all of history lost the first chapter of their own story. Think about that for a second. The most universal human experience: being born, discovering the world for the first time, forming your first attachments, and none of us can remember it. The cutoff isn't a sharp line, it fades in gradually. Most people's first retrievable memory surfaces somewhere around age 3. Some people catch fragments from 2.5. Almost nobody reaches back before age 2. Roughly 800 days of your life, the days when you were learning faster than you ever would again. Just not there. But the hippocampus isn't the only reason. Language turns out to be surprisingly important for memory. When something happens to you, the way you store it as a long-term memory is partly by narrating it, giving it words, context, a place in your personal story. This is the day I did this. This is how it felt. This is what it meant. Babies don't have language yet. They experience things fully: joy, fear, comfort, hunger, warmth, but they can't narrate those experiences to themselves. There are no words to anchor the memory to. Once language arrives, memories start to stick differently. They become stories, and stories are what the human brain is built to remember. This is partly why your earliest retrievable memory almost always comes from after you started speaking in full sentences. Here's something worth sitting with. Even though you can't consciously remember being a baby, your body remembers. The feeling of being held, the sound of a familiar voice, the sense of being safe or unsafe in someone's presence. These experiences didn't form memories you can recall, but they formed you. Psychologists have found that early childhood experiences, even the ones we have no conscious memory of, shape our attachment styles, our stress responses, our ability to trust people, our sense of whether the world is fundamentally safe or not. You don't remember your mother picking you up when you cried, but somewhere in the architecture of who you are, that happened, and it mattered. The memories didn't survive, but their effects did. There's a question underneath all of this that's hard to shake. If you are experiencing things, feeling things, bonding with people, learning at an extraordinary rate, but you can't remember any of it, were you fully there? Most researchers would say yes, completely. The baby experiencing the world was as real and present as you are right now. The experiences were genuine, the emotions were genuine, the love received and given was genuine. The only thing missing is the adult standing in the future looking back. Memory and experience are not the same thing. You experience those years completely. You just can't visit them anymore. Somewhere, there are people who remember you from before you remember yourself. They watched you discover the world for the first time. They saw your first reactions to things: music, rain, faces, light. They knew a version of you that you will never meet. And somewhere in the person you became, in the way you respond to the world, in what makes you feel safe, in what you reach for when things get hard, that version of you is still present. You just can't remember being them